Good morning. Welcome to December 4th Technical Review Committee meeting. We'll go ahead and get started with review of the November 6th and November 20 minutes. Do we have any changes to those minutes?
I didn't see any changes, Mac. I'll make a motion to approve the November 6th and November 20th TRC meeting minutes.
Thank you. We had a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Those minutes are approved. Do we have any announcements, Rachel or Karen? Officially, happy birthday, Bob.
We're not going to sing, Bob.
We'll go ahead and move right into the development reviews. First item is Walton's Landing. We have a request to continue to the next TRC, December 18, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Motion to continue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, motion is carried. We'll move to item number 3, the Basin Bayou Estates. Request approved by development order.
No, Mr. Chair, this is the one that Karen put back on for clarification. We did that 45-day window, but I guess it didn't make it into the minutes. The one that they're starting over again with the survey and everything.
Okay, for today's action, what's your recommendation?
I guess the same as you made, that they had 45 days from the last meeting to get everything together and resubmit. I have gotten the corrected survey, and Rachel was going to set up the phone call for you and me and Bill. Start from there. But I don't understand because you made a motion but wasn't clear why it was back on. We just go by the last action.
I guess we didn't officially table it last time, subject to resubmittal.
Said 45 days, or if it's not correct, full submittal, it'll be denied. It could be denied.
Let's go ahead and continue this to the January TRC, and we'll see where we are.
January 8th? The first one or second one?
First one.
Okay, it would be January 8th.
And we'll see how far we've gotten by then.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So I will motion to continue Basin Bayou Estates till the January 8th TRC meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, motion carried. That moves us to item number 4, Venetia's large-scale amendment. We have a request to continue to December 18, 2019. Do we have a motion to that?
Motion to continue December 18th.
Do we have a second?
That one will be ready on the 18th. I got the review, but too late to get it in the packet, but it'll be good to move forward.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to December 18. We'll move to item number 5. We also have a request to continue to December 18. Do we have a motion?
To continue.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to December 18, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Chair, this one still has a lot of issues to work through.
That was number 5, wasn't it? We'll move to number 6, the Bayview Estates Plat. We also have a request to continue to December 18. Do we have a motion?
Motion to continue December 18th.
All in favor, please please say aye.
I'll second that and we'll say aye.
Any opposed likewise? Thank you. All right, that item's continued at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Number 7, Christ the King Episcopal Educational Building. We have a request to continue to December 18. Can we have a motion?
Chair, this one has a lot of issues still to work out.
December 18, long enough?
It was continued two meetings ago. I think they'll be able to
Yeah,
address it by the 18th, so I'll motion to continue to the 18th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Items continued to December 18th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Walmart exterior modification. That is a request to continue to December 18. So, is that going to be enough time, Tim?
Well, they're requesting the continuance to continue to work with Public Works. That was what they wanted. They wanted to continue it to the next meeting. So honestly, I don't know if that's enough time or not, because they've been working with Public Works, but that's what they asked for.
Okay, we'll see how far they get. We have a recommended motion. We have a motion at the dais.
Motion to continue December 18th.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item's continued to December 18th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Move to item number 9, the Sweetwater Lane RV Park. We also have a request to continue to December 18th.
That should be January 8th.
January 8th.
The memo outlines the January TRC. We didn't know the date yet, but we do now. It's January 8th.
Okay. We have a recommended motion to continue to January 8th. We have a motion at the dais.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, continue to January 8th, 2020, at 8:30 a.m. in this location. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item's continued to January 8th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 10, request to approve by development order. Bob, can you introduce it for us?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Highlands at Seagrove Amendment, request to approve by development order, project number MIN 1938 is being reviewed by myself. This is a minor development order application submitted by Dunlap and Shipman on behalf of Seagrove Highlands Condominium. Request to amend the current development order to move one residential unit to the end of Somerset Bridge Road and move compost garden and reduce the number of approved condominium units of 2 parcels on 13.9 plus 98 plus or minus with future land use of mixed use and the zoning of small neighborhood. And the parcel number is in your staff, published in your staff. Mr. Chair, this is one of the ones I'm still lacking fire comments, but was asked to put it on to see the wish of the board to. It's pretty much has all the other comments but fire. And all the comments have been addressed, pretty much. But environmental has a few comments, and obviously we're missing fire.
Fire comment likely could be the need for a turnaround.
Yes. He's been getting onesies and twosies, but there's no real rhyme or reason. We're not getting notifications, so we got to go back and search the whole list to see. But I would think he's starting to make progress, so I would think we could have something either before next TRC, or if you choose to conditionally make it pending the fire comments and resubmittal. The applicant understands why the delay.
We have anybody representing the applicant this morning?
Melissa's not here.
Um, What's your feeling?
Oh, we have been sticking to our guns about no fire, no conditional approval. So to be consistent, I guess recommend making a motion to continue it to the 12/18 with the rest of them.
Okay, we have a recommended motion. We have a motion that dies.
So moved.
Second.
Continue to December 18th, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to December 18th.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Bob. It moves us to item number 11, Ashley Place Minor Development Order. It's reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce this one for us.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by Choctaw Engineering requesting approval to construct 8 multifamily units in 4 buildings with the associated infrastructure on 4.85 acres with the future land use of residential. This was continued from our last meeting mainly due to the lack of fire comments. We have fire comments now, however, they've been waiting on those comments, so they haven't done a resubmittal yet. All of the comments are still outstanding. With that, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just have a few questions to ask, that's it.
State your name for the record.
Mark Seiner, Choctaw Engineering, representing the applicant. One question I have is, there's a requirement here, a comment about providing 5-foot sidewalks, or sidewalks shall be provided on both sides of a residential street. Apartment complex doesn't have, we're not going to be doing a subdivision, so.
I didn't get any comments from GIS 911. I don't know if they're going to treat that like a street or if they're going to treat it like a driveway. Typically, that's what we go by. If they come back and say, well, this is a street, give it a name, then we're going to require sidewalks. But if they say, well, it's just a driveway, but I have no comments from them. Like a street, but it's really up to them to make that determination.
I've been involved with lots of apartments in the last 40 years. I don't recall one not having sidewalks.
There are only 8 units.
But you're
Where
going
to
to have
go?
access to the multi-use path that's under design on 393. And in the context of walkability, I think we need sidewalks.
I guess my point is that the way the code was set up is it's for sidewalks in a street on a residential subdivision, thus you have the place to put the sidewalks. We can add a sidewalk to go from the street to the apartment buildings, but I mean, the whole project's only 1 acre in size. I mean, it's 8 units. I mean, it's not like you're going to have hundreds of people walking down the road for
Be
this.
a family apartment complex. Will there be kids there?
Possibly, yeah.
I think we need sidewalks. Man, this is walkability in South Walton. It's our lifeblood. I think you need to figure out how to put some sidewalks in there. connecting to.
We'll put sidewalks in. I understand. I hear you loud and clear.
I think with them putting in the multi-use path, they could buy out the sidewalk on 393.
We can talk to Public Works about that, because that is under design, but I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is, but
Code requires a 5-foot sidewalk, but if they're putting in the
I'm happy for y'all to work that out, Public Works.
I figure we just do the buyout on that. Or the sidewalk on 393.
We can do that.
That's not a problem. Speaking of that, I've tried to contact, is it Aaron Harrison? And I can't get any response back. How do I get a copy of the plans for that? Can I get,
I can
just
give you his
Bill?
email address, yeah.
Okay, good.
Or you can get a hold of
Can I
me. and
email
I
you?
can- Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. Because I realize we're all busy and stuff like that, but I can't move forward unless I can get that plan to figure out how that's going to work into my driveway. That's it.
Tim, you got a recommended motion?
Excuse me, a motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding issues / comments and move it forward to the development.
All right, we have a recommended motion. We have a motion that dies.
Motion to conditionally approve.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, conditionally approve this minor development. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is carried and conditionally approved. Thank you, Mark. This moves us to item number 12, Miramar Beach Hotel Amendment. This minor development's been reviewed by Tim Brown, and I would like to make one public comment. When the Land Development Code was updated just a few months ago, it adjusted the thresholds for major and minor developments. It also eliminated the requirement that all US 98 scenic corridor projects be processed as minor developments. The direction from the board was to size the application based on the numeric thresholds in the Land Development Code. For a non-residential project, that threshold is now 20,000 square feet. We've had a couple of projects that are on this agenda today that were originally submitted as major developments. Prior to the change, they requested to be converted to minor developments consistent with the current Land Development Code, and that's exactly how we're processing those. The Miramar Beach Hotel is one of those examples. But just for the public's benefit, rest assured, the same technical review standards get applied to every project, whether it's a major development or a minor development. So, other than that, we'll move forward. Miramar Beach Hotel, Tim, can you introduce this one for us?
Yes, this is a minor development order application submitted by Choctaw Engineering requesting approval to fill the existing wetland, reconfigure the parking lot, reconfigure the parking lot landscaping, and reconfigure the parking lot lighting on 1.59 acres with the future land use of mixed use. This is an amendment to a previously approved development order that does not affect the building. I handed out earlier, got comments and an email from Public Works, and we also got public comment on this item. Got comments from all the departments. Yeah, we got fire comments. So we do have comments from all the departments. With that, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Tim Mark Steiner, Choctaw Engineering, representing the applicant. I just had question number 8 and number 9. There was comments about landscaping for the drainage facilities. All of the drainage facilities are being provided under the parking lot. There are no ground retention ponds.
It wouldn't apply.
Okay. And then all the other comments I got previously are fine, and I got these comments today. I did have one question regarding the comments from Anna Hudson about having interconnectivity with the property to the west. The previously approved development order did not provide that. I wasn't the engineer on that, so I don't know the specifics of why that wasn't there previously. But it wasn't required of the development order that's existing today.
I'm not sure what that section she's referring to says, but in chapter 6, it says, and I've never understood the rationale, but it says if the properties are vacant, then you have to provide cross-access, but these properties are not vacant. I didn't make the comment.
But both are stubbed out, as if there would be a connection.
Correct.
We need to make a connection. Preserve the integrity of scenic order. And I'm not sure why that was missed on the last development review. Could be we were focused so much on the wetland in the back and the buffer between the hotel and the residential neighborhood to the north.
Now, I do have a question regarding that. I can show that. That's not a problem. Do we have carte blanche to just go build on somebody else's property?
No, but you do have carte blanche to build right up to the property line.
Okay.
And I would encourage you to reach out to the neighbor and work out making the connection.
Well, we'll design ours to try to accomplish that.
Thank you. Now, given that we got a number of comments, but we also have some public comments today that essentially go back 15 years in this particular neighborhood. Serious concern about flooding, and that was a concern when this development came through previously, about pushing water into the residential backyards on the north side of the project. And there was big concern about buffering from light and noise. And now we've taken out most of the trees back there. Added some amount of buffering, both from a visual standpoint and noise abatement. My understanding that there's been clearing in the wetlands.
There's not been any clearing in the wetlands.
The stop work order on the site work.
Yeah, they cleared the buffer. They cleared right up to the wetland. I believe where the silk fence is right now, that is the edge of the wetland. So they cleared the buffer, but not the wetland itself.
Okay. I mean, what's our plan for enhancing compatibility now that we're taking out stuff that previously provided at least some separation?
We're providing a buffer along the backside per the code, and we're only filling in we're only filling a small portion of the wetland in the back.
And I understand, but I was here for this review and the public hearings on this development when it was originally approved, and the compatibility issue between the residential neighborhood and this commercial site was a tremendous issue. I mean, it got lots of airtime. The county is empowered to require buffers larger than the minimums if we believe that it's necessary to maintain compatibility. And since we're removing some of what the board previously approved for compatibility, we need to see an alternative. Something that enhances compatibility on the north side of the property. And I'm not today going to tell you exactly what that needs to be, but I'm going to ask you to tell us what you think it needs to be. I don't think you have to do that right now, but I think that's an important part of the development review of this particular project. Since we're now moving cars further closer to the neighborhood to the north. So I'm looking for some creative ideas.
Okay.
And you guys are smart guys. Y'all can come up with something.
Do.
But that is a serious concern. And this will not be going to Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners like it did last time. So we want to make sure that we take care of it here.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone here wishing to make a public comment about this particular application? Yes, sir. If you could come to the podium and state your name and for the record.
Donald Swanby. Reside at 110 Mariner Way, directly north of this development. And we moved in about 7 years ago, and we knew something was going to be built here. And I guess we never thought that the county would approve a 3-story hotel in our backyard, but that's been approved by the commission. At that particular time, we've been prone to flooding for many years. And my neighbor to the west has lived there for 20 years or something. And there's photographs that have been supplied to the county and so on. Any bit of rainfall, we get some flooding in our backyards. When this was approved, the exfiltration system, we were basically sold that this would improve our flooding issues. And the other item is there's basically been almost a forest behind us. They've taken almost all of that away. So now there's a sound issue, there's a lighting issue, not to mention trees absorb some of the water. It's the flooding that is the main thing that we're very concerned of. Our properties are below 12 feet above sea level. On their plan, they're going to fill the wetlands 4 feet above, 16 feet, and then it would go step down to 12 feet to our back fence. The water is going to go from 16 feet to 12, and then to below 12 back into our yard. So I don't see where this is going to be improving our issues, but exasperating them. Also, the entire property is being built up 4 feet above the existing sea level. When somebody's standing in their parking lot 20 feet from my yard and my neighbor's yard, they're going to be standing 10 feet above they'll be peering right into our yard. They've already taken away many of the trees that were a buffer. And if this wetlands is taken away, and they're taking away all the rest of the trees, all of the trees. It's a noise issue, it's a sight issue. There has been no talk about some type of a fence to block the headlights from going directly into our homes. There's some issues with this. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, this was approved by the BCC, our elected officials. That same day that was approved, I went to speak to the owner of the cigar factory who owned this property. He said it has been sold. He sold it the same day as it was approved. And so now we have a new developer. And because it's no longer a major, it's a minor, it comes in front of you as staff, and staff, I don't think necessarily reacts like the elected officials, and probably rightfully so. You know, you're just going by the facts. But I believe in the land development document, it says that adjacent properties cannot be impacted. And I think we're already being impacted, but with this amendment, it just makes it even worse. I would like to work with someone. I don't see where the parking lot really needs to be changed, you know, from what it was originally approved. Same number of parking spaces, 79 parking spaces. All they're doing is encroaching closer to us, filling the wetlands, which we all know is not the greatest thing in the world. So I guess I'm saying we're very much against it. We weren't really thrilled with the initial proposal, but with that exfiltration system, we were told that the flooding problems would get better. This one doesn't look like it's getting better. Thank you for listening to me, and if I can work with someone, I'd be more than happy to. Some of my neighbors are out of town, they couldn't come today, so I kind of speak for, and that's the other thing, there's only 3 or 4 homes. It's not like we're 400 people, but if it happens to us, it's going to happen to our neighbors 2 doors or 2 miles down the road as well. So we're asking help or guidance in this situation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comments.
Back.
Yes.
I'll talk to this gentleman after the meeting. I think I can probably offer up some ideas and some solutions that'll help alleviate their concerns.
I'd appreciate that. I mean, they have some great concerns, and part of that is not knowing exactly what it's going to look like when they're done and what those impacts are going to be. So,
But all the things that he just talked about, I think we can incorporate into the design, and I have an idea as to how we can help. One of the problems with this project is the fact that it's in an area that's already been developed all the way around, and the drainage problem, as we all know over there in Holiday Road and stuff like that, that was created because everything was built without a design that incorporated current drainage standards. So we're trying to work around things that are as far as where this gentleman lives, unfortunately, if you were to build it today, you would have never built it like that, and everybody else he would be higher than we are now. So, but I think because what I've done is I've reduced the footprint of the parking lot, made it smaller. I've got about 20 to 25 feet on the east side of this property that we're not utilizing now. And I think what I can do is I can provide an outlet for that water that was being trapped on the back of the piece of property and get that back out and take it back towards DOT and get it out of that neighborhood. Because right now, they're in a closed basin. There's nowhere for it to go. But I think I can alleviate that by implementing the design that we have. And I'll explain that, and we'll go over that, and I'll try to help you out with that.
Wanted to mention, as far as the access to the property to the west, I think it's really the property to the east. But that's, you guys can figure that out.
We're connecting to, we're already connecting to the property to the east.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah,
we were talking
old
about
cigar factory.
Do we have an updated land survey? Because the survey, I believe, was made in 2012, and our properties are the lowest area, and then I think where he's kind of talking about, it's also about the same. It's below 12 feet. They're going to be filling that. So where a lot of the water is now going, it's going north, and it's also going south to that particular part of the parking lot, which is going to be filled. So if that's filled, which way does it go? Towards us as well.
We can address that. That's not a problem.
One of my concerns about this, and just thinking back to the previous public hearings on this and the public comments, there's some folks on the north side that have like swimming pools in their backyard. this is gonna be built up higher than their privacy fence, if they have one. So please give some consideration to
Well, if we put a fence or wall on our backside, we'll.
fence or a wall. I think that
supplement
would
that.
go a long
Okay.
way to eliminating the light intrusion,
Mhm.
the noise, and just the visual observance from the commercial side to the residential
Yeah,
side.
but I hope, just so I can make sure everybody understands this, the reason why we're raising the site isn't because we want to be high enough to look in people's backyards. It's
You're
because of the
raising
fact
site
that,
to make the stormwater work.
yes, exactly. And as we just talked about, stormwater seems to be an issue. And, yeah, as crazy as it sounds, yes, when we build this project, it will help the stormwater because we'll be retaining our water that was previously all draining towards the same wetland area that everybody else was draining to. So hopefully we'll free up some capacity in that wetland. But I think what we can do is provide an opportunity to get that water out of there. So when we have the 40 inches of rain in a month, they won't be as impacted as before. So we'll work on that and help them out.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Do we have any other questions or comments from the dais? Public Works, survey question.
I made the comment that it has to be
Okay.
That's not a problem. We'll take care of that.
All right, recommend a motion?
based on,
I think I'd like to see what those compatibility measures are before we approve this at this stage.
I was gonna say, based on Public Works comments, we probably want to continue it. I don't know if we want to continue it next meeting or if we want to continue it to
December 18th, enough time? Or,
Yeah.
It's only a week before the staff report goes out.
I mean, it's short time frame. I mean, we can do January or December.
That's up to you. I mean, I'm just getting some of these comments today, so you guys
Well, I mean,
you do make it a little bit difficult on us to respond, I gotta admit.
Recognize that we want to move through the process as efficiently as we
Sure.
can, but we want to make sure that we do give you time to address all the comments and
Mhm.
best plan you can.
Okay.
I would suggest January because the December meeting, the staff reports are due next week. So that's
It's going to be tough to get it turned around and comments back.
That's fine.
January 8th?
yes.
Give me time over Christmas to work on plans.
Okay. We have recommended motion to continue to January 8th to allow the applicant to comments and to address the compatibility concerns to the north. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Carried. It's continued to January 8th. This moves us to item number 13, the Corsi Garden Center. Request approved by development order has been reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce it for us.
This is a minor development order application submitted by Baker Engineers requesting to develop a 1,412 square foot garden center and plant nursery on 18.82 acres with the future land use of residential and a zoning of urban residential. It's located on the east side of Juniper Lake Road, north of Magnolia Boulevard and south of Ginny Circle. I did not receive any comments from North Walton Fire. Like I did get comments from all the other departments. Looks like they're relatively minor, and with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Hey, I'm Michelle Baker from Baker Engineers, and the comments I received, I reviewed all of them, and I'm in the process of answering them all right now. I understand all of them, don't have any questions. They're all pretty minor. So unless you have some questions for me.
Any questions from the dais?
I can get any comments that I have with you after the meeting. Shouldn't be, haven't seen this.
Comments
Yeah.
from you.
Recommend the motion, Tim?
To approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding issues, comments, and move it forward to the development order.
Okay, we got to recommend a motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
I'll motion to continue subject to satisfactory response to all comments.
Second.
Motion to approve,
Motion to approve, subject to
subject
satisfaction
to
of comments.
satisfactory comments. That was it?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved. Item number 14, the Mac Bayou Residences PUD. This is a major development and a PUD overlay ordinance. It will go to Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners for public hearings at those stages. It's been reviewed by Renee Bradley. Renee, if you could introduce it for us.
Sir, this is a major development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering on behalf of Crest Residential LLC, requesting the approval of a PUD overlay and technical PUD to construct a residential community consisting of 252 multifamily apartments, 24 townhomes, 12 single-family homes with 15,000 plus or minus amenities, bike path, public park, and future commercial development on 37.63 acres with a future land use of mixed-use residential and a zoning of small neighborhood and infill. The project is located 0.7 miles from the intersection US Highway 98 and Mac Bayou Road on the right side of Mac Bayou Road and is identified by the parcel ID in your packet. Staff did have a number of comments. We have met with the developer and went through these already, and they don't seem to be any of them a holdup except for one that is a concern about the multi-use path or the pedestrian path that's going through the neighborhood. We had some comments from the planning manager that would like to see this sidewalk come along Mac Bayou Road. So that is something that from my understanding from Public Works, that they would like to see the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners make a decision on that. Their recommendation was that we just provide an easement to dedicate this to the public on Public Works' comments that we've received so far. So I wanted to get that in the record. We've received comments from fire. Only basically one comment from fire about the no further than 500 feet driving distance. And pending engineering comments at this time. This was a staff error. We had a processing error that happened, and therefore it's not the applicant's fault that they're not receiving. And I would ask that engineering push this. They've received this project this morning, so that we can keep the applicant moving forward. And at this time, sir, could I turn it over to the applicant?
Thank you, Renee. I'm David Smith with
We do have engineering comments.
Public Works.
Public Works, sir, not
I'm sorry.
engineering from Dewberry. I do have public work comments.
Thank you, Renee. I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering, and I'm representing the applicant. And as Renee presented, we have received comments. She sent us our report prior to the week of Thanksgiving, so we have had an opportunity to address the comments, go through the comments. We've actually met with Renee, met with Kristen, had multiple conversations with Public Works as well, because as Renee presented, Kristen did point out the bike path, but since that time, Public Works is okay with the bike path going through our property and being dedicated to the public with an easement. So we did have those conversations, and they did agree with that. Everything's straightforward to us. We see no concerns, and we would respectfully request to move forward, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, David. One comment I'd like to make. Kelly Farmer, our former urban design senior planner, worked very hard with David and the applicant on compatibility for this particular development. So I'm comfortable that these comments can be addressed quickly. Comments or questions from the dais?
I'll just state that I did receive the plans this morning, and I'll go ahead and review that. And if there's any issues, I'll get them to you so you can satisfy those comments and get it submitted so that we don't hold the project up.
Thank you.
So our recommended motion would be to move this project forward due to all outstanding comments being met prior to being placed on the agenda for the Planning Commission.
We have recommended motion. We have motion of the dais.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is approved to move forward to the Planning Commission, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments.
Thank you.
It moves us to item number 15, Watersound Origins Phase 5, Cell Center and Lot Line Shift, requested to approve by development order. Minor development's been reviewed by Renee Bradley. Renee, can you introduce it for us, please?
Yes, sir. This is a minor development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering Corporation on behalf of Coulter Homes, LLC, requesting to approve build a cell center and model home and a 6-foot lot line shift between lots 2 and 3 within the Watersound Origins Nature Walk Phase 1 on 1.36 acres with a future land use and zoning of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center. The project is located at the intersection of North Watersound Parkway and Pathways Drive and is identified by the parcel ID in your packet. We didn't have any outstanding engineering comments on this project. We did receive those. Staff's comments were very minor. Right, staff report. We did receive South Walton Fire on this as well. Your environmental comments was handed out this morning. There was no comments pending on that, just conditions for the permits that's needed. And we have Health Department comments as well, which was nothing that needed to be responded to. I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Renee. I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering, and there really are no comments. Everything's very minor and straightforward, so we would respectfully request to move forward.
Thank you, David. Any further questions from the dais? Recommended motion?
The motion would be to move it forward, sir, to development order once all comments have been satisfied. Development order.
And we have recommended motion. We have motion at the dais.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments.
Thank you.
Y'all, it moves us to item number 16, the Cove at Santa Rosa Beach. This is a minor development order application reviewed by Bob Baronti. Bob, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
As you said, this is a minor development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of Waldrew Development LLC, requesting to develop 10 single-family lots on 2.51 plus or minus acres of future land use of residential and the zoning of low-density residential 4:1. The project is located at 0.02 miles south of Seacroft Drive at the intersection of Maxwell and Carefree Lane, and is identified by the parcel number in your staff report. Mr. Chair, there's no public comments. Planning has some comments. Environmental, is okay with it. Floodplain is okay. Dewberry's okay. This project does not meet transportation concurrency, so there'll be a proportionate fair share of $16,100. Public Works right-of-way has no comments on this project. South Walton Fire says this project meets their technical review. Mosquito Control, I have their comments. Haven't received nothing from the school board, but typically their response is that they will make room. So make a motion to conditionally approve the project pending successful resubmittal of staff comments and issuing the development order. Agent is here to speak to that.
Yep, Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. I appreciate it. We did receive the comments from Bob, and I think we got all approvals except for a few really, really minor things for planning. I did have one quick question of one of the comments that was asked, just to make sure we address it adequately in our response. But it asked us to add the impervious surface ratio to the site data table, which we'll be happy to do. I just can't find where there's a maximum requirement. We usually put what we do, what's provided, and what's required. But for LDR, I don't see where there's a ISR listed in the comp plan. But we'll be happy to just list what we have. It has under the residential component of the comp plan, it talks about non-residential ISRs, but it just doesn't list one. So we'll be happy to put what we have. It's about 29%, and have to put a maximum. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions at the dais? This is a minor development order that will go straight to development order issuance. Once we have comments addressed. Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment about this development? Seeing none, recommend a motion.
Recommendation of a motion to conditionally approve pending successful resubmittal, and once that happens, move to the development order.
Okay, have a motion at the dais.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Likewise. Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved, subject to satisfaction of those minor outstanding comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Number 17, Southeast Storage Facility Addition. Request approved by final order. This is a and this one is staying a major development.
This is, Mr. Chair, there's a minor going now to change the front of the building, and this is a new major to add. They're going to remove some of the current storage and replace it with new storage. So that's why the totals have all changed.
Why? Good morning.
Morning. Calvin Palmer with Avcon. They're replacing my outdoor individual storage units that open for the outdoor with a storage building with indoor storage facilities.
Climate controlled, or it's more of a market in that direction?
I suppose so.
The minor development is not before us today, or is it before us today?
No, the minor development order is actually at DO stage because it went through DRB. I will be issuing a development order as soon as I get the DO's plan sets. That was just the outlook of the building, and it was approved with conditions from DRB already, and the conditions will be imposed in the staff report. So we thought that they were done when they changed the building, and then they decided to change it more, and that made the major threshold.
Okay, and today's application's for another 61,000 square feet?
Yes, Mr. 61,275 square feet, three-story building to include 355 storage units with the removal of 18,500 of existing. This request, along with the 61,275 square feet already approved by the last major DO, would bring it to a total after subtraction of 122,550, and we've scrubbed these numbers, and the applicant says that they're exactly what's going on.
Okay, I'm catching up. This is development on the north side where we had existing older storage, and the older storage is what you're taking out?
Yes, sir.
That's right. They're replacing it in that footprint, the one-story older storage with three-story climate-controlled storage.
Those were the 18,000 square feet that were already there when we approved the first development order. Mr. Chair, if you have no other questions, I'll go through the staff report. There's just minor comments. Both the Air Force, Public Works. Public Works has comments. South Walton Fire has recommended approval with their typical conditions. South Walton Mosquito Control has no comments. Code Enforcement, there's no violations as of November 21st. Environmental is fine. Environmental is fine. Floodplain is fine. I have a number of comments that they can clearly meet. And then the staff or the applicants here to answer any questions you may have additionally.
What are we doing compatibility-wise on that north side? We're taking single-story buildings, and now we're putting up multi-story buildings.
Yes, sir.
I mean, have we given any thought to lighting?
No, sir. On the other side of the road, there's just I think the DOT has like a drainage facility, storage. So I don't think there'd be any impacts to any adjacent like residential properties or adverse impacts.
Keep in mind, this will go back to the DRB. It's already scheduled, I believe, for the January DRB meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you. Recommend a motion?
I recommend motion to continue, conditionally approved pending successful resubmittal and move to the design review board for their review.
I have a question. And we received public comment about this particular development.
We've received nothing.
This came to our commissioners.
Oh, okay.
Late yesterday. There's concern that this property is being used for some kind of trash collection transfer station.
Not that I'm aware of.
Got private garbage hauler using this facility for something like that? Because we do have some private haulers that provide additional pickups in the short-term rental areas.
Not that I'm aware of.
And if that is occurring, that absolutely needs to be authorized in a development order if it could be.
Yes, sir.
That use is not allowable. So if that's occurring, we need to make other arrangements as soon as possible before we move this forward, or we need to modify this application to include that particular use, if it's even allowable. in this land use category. But we got written comments going to commissioners, and this will appear before them, so you need to make sure you address that head on before we get to the next public hearing.
Okay, yes, sir, we'll look at that.
I have a copy of it. I'll provide a copy.
And I don't know if it is or not. I just have written public comments received yesterday afternoon that suggest that activity is occurring on this site. So if you'll please address that, clear that up for us.
Yes, sir, will do.
Do we have any other questions or comments on this particular development? Recommended motion, Bob?
Recommended motion is to enter these comments into the staff report record and conditionally approve pending successful resubmittal and addressing these comments that were received by Ms. Moss. And then move it to the DRB for the DRB in January, and then once through DRB and comments have been addressed, move it to the appropriate planning commission meeting.
Thank you, Bob. We had a recommended motion. We have a motion that dies.
I'll make a motion as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to DRB, subject to satisfaction.
Mr. Chair, with your approval, I'll add these comments as a condition of approval that none of that activity without a revised site plan and it being appropriate will be permitted.
Thank you, Bob. This will move us to item number 18, the Green Street Improvements Minor Development Application reviewed by Bob Baronti.
Mr. Chair, this is a request by Development Order Project Number MIN 1953 is being reviewed by myself. This is a minor development order application submitted by O'Connell and Associates on behalf of Sam Barry Blair Jr. and J. Stewart Kohler Jr. They are requesting approval to update the existing private right-of-way and construct a new stormwater management facility on .376 plus or minus acres with future land use of not classified and the zoning of not classified. The project is located south of County Route 30A and approximately .02 miles west of Watersound Parkway and East County Road 30A intersection, and is identified by parcel number as in your staff report. Mr. Chair, there are some comments. I guess the most important ones are by the environmental review and the South Walton Fire District and Public Works right away. I was going to, because South Walton says it doesn't meet their technical review, I was going to ask it to be continued until they can get public or the fire department, this project can get in line with the fire department's review. The applicant requested to speak to you on this subject, so the applicant is here. Ms.
Good morning, John Nash with O'Connell and Associates. Actually, we have no objection to continuing it. We do need to meet with Sammy, and we tried to do that, but we haven't gotten him yet. This is reconstructing a roadway that exists today. We're vastly improving the road that's there now. And I just need to get with Sammy and make sure we're all on the same page. But if y'all would like to continue it, we have no objection to that.
How much time would you like?
Oh, the next meeting,
15.
please.
Okay. Recommended motion is we continue this to the 18th to allow time to coordinate with the South Walton Fire District Fire Marshal.
And I'll just add for the record, the staff report says that no engineering review was completed at
It
the
came
time, but I
later.
believe the applicant has received the approval.
It came after publication.
All the other comments are very minor.
So I'll make a motion that we continue to December 18th TRC meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue to December 18th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, likewise. This item is continued to December 18, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Thank you.
This moves us to item number 19, the East End 5 million gallon tank and booster pump station small scale amendment. Been reviewed by Bob Baronti. Bob, if you want to brief us on this?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a request by Florida Community Services Corporation / Regional Utilities to add a East End 5 million gallon tank and booster pump. It's a small scale amendment. The future land use currently is Village Center Rec open spaces. The zoning is Village Center Rec / open space. The proposed land use will be public facilities and institutional, and the zoning will be public facilities and institution. This plan to maintain and upgrade our overall utility system meets with the comprehensive plan. There are no outstanding comments. There is no public comments. The infrastructure will be provided, and it's been noted. And as I said, no public comments. Engineering, the preliminary transportation is in there, and the environmental review is fine. It meets the minimum standards. Floodplain meets the minimum standards, and the project was not sent to the school board for review since the proposed land use and zoning does not have any residential uses. Mr. Chair, in our growth, we need to maintain our infrastructure, so staff would recommend this project. The applicants are here to speak if you have any questions.
2-minute break.
How's it going, Ryan? I know you guys have been. Yeah.
Connie's gonna throw me a parade. I kind of let that cat out of the bag.
Thank you all for bearing with me.
No problem, Mr. Chair. So basically, wrapping it up, this plan is important to the future infrastructure of the county. The applicant's here if you have any questions.
Good morning.
Morning.
Could you state your name for the record?
Dylan Laird with Regional Utilities Engineer.
And Ryan Douglas, Regional Utilities Engineer.
Morning, welcome. Is this potable water or wastewater? It is a necessary addition to our infrastructure in South Walton that will support continued development. Any questions from the dais? This will go to Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. Any questions from the applicant?
No, sir.
Recommend a
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this and move it to the Planning Commission in January for their review, public hearing.
Thank you, Bob. We have a recommended motion. We have a motion at the dais.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to recommend approval to Planning Commission. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is recommended for approval to the Planning Commission.
Thank you very much.
We got it scheduled for January.
I will.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Item number 20, the Bannerman Lot subdivision plat. Request to approve by final plat. Bob, can you briefly introduce it for us?
Chair, we're asking this to be continued. This in no way is the applicant's fault, it is purely my fault. Somehow it went unnoticed. The applicant has agreed to move it to the 18th, and I've apologized to him. It's my fault.
That give us time to get us back on track. So motion to continue to the December 18th.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we agree. I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering. Yeah, Bob did communicate with us, and we understand.
I apologize.
Any further discussion? We have a motion to continue. Second.
December 18th.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, hearing none, this item is continued to December 18th. Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Item 21, our last item of business is request to approve the calendar year 2020 Technical Review Committee schedule of meeting dates. Looks pretty straightforward. I think we've addressed any holidays. Any questions or comments on the schedule? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 2020 dates.
Second.
And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, our meeting dates are approved for 2020, and that concludes our agenda this morning. Thank everyone very much. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
In a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.